Managers used to get asked a lot years ago if they knew what their strongest 11 was or their preferred 11. Do you think the days of having the preferred 11 or a strongest lineup have gone with all the rotation that's necessary?
I can't speak for other managers in terms of myself. I don't have a best 11. I never have done in all of the clubs that I've worked with. Why? Because the physical demands of the Premier League or Liga or the Championship now with 46 games, you need a squad and you need to use the players in the correct way to challenge over the course of the season. I can't speak for other managers if they have a best 11. Here at the moment, I've been in for 3.5 weeks. I'm just getting to know the players. I don't have a best 11 in my mind. I try and pick the right starting team, but I also try to pick a bench that will give us the right finishing team as well. And so far, I have to say the substitutes in every game that we've played have made a huge impact. It's not down to my tactical stuff. There's some part of that, but it's down to their mentality to come on and help the team.
Dom?
Liam, the result from the first leg from this Carabao Cup semi-final wasn't the same as against Napoli in midweek or today against West Ham, but there were similarities in the sense that in the second half Chelsea were much better in those games and substitutions contributed to that. Does that give you confidence in case things aren't necessarily going well in the second leg, that again Chelsea can kind of come through in the second half and finish well?
Yeah, players are showing me that. The players are showing me that they're engaged. The players who are so important and frustrated not to start games are all coming on and having an impact. The reality is Arsenal are favourites for the tie. They're a goal up and they're at home, so they'll expect to go through. We need to take it as far as we can and as deep as we can, and then the second half hopefully will be massive in terms of turning the tie around.
Can I also just check, and if you've already been asked this elsewhere, and I apologise, but is there a chance of Estevão being involved?
I don't know yet. With Este, he's a young kid who's come and been magnificent. He's going through a really difficult time for personal reasons, and he's on compassionate leave. I won't put any pressure on him. It has to be right for him, and he has to feel like he's in the right place to perform for this team.
Dan?
As you say, Arsenal will be favourites going into this tie, but given the fact that this group of players have won 2 trophies in big finals and performed under pressure twice in the last 9 months, and in the last 5.5 years Arsenal haven't won anything, can you lean into that going into Tuesday's game?
Yeah, I think my players, I look at maybe Enzo Fernandez has won a World Cup as well as the group winning two trophies last year. They can play in big games, they can perform in big games. It's definitely a big game on Tuesday. I won't speak about what Arsenal or Mikel Arteta have or haven't done. That's not my concern. My concern is resting. It's another 3-game week. We need to recover. It's going to be a really physical game on Tuesday, and preparing the team as best I can for that game.
Peter?
You mentioned Enzo Fernandez just before reacting to the game, and he's played a lot of football. Where is he at in terms of his fitness? Can you pushing him?
Yeah, he's just fit. You see him today arriving in the box in the 92nd, 93rd minute. Enzo's got a rare athleticism, which is a gift, where he can recover really quickly, and his distances that he covers in terms of our data is absolutely top, and the quality and the leadership he gives the team, and I'm really enjoying working with him.
Jacob?
Obviously Arsenal won 4-0 today, but there's been quite a lot of anxiety in their home games recently. I mean, do you look to play on that?
We'll see. We'll see. We'll go and play our game.
Bobby?
Hi Liam, can I just ask about Jamie Gittins? There's an update.
Yeah, Jamie unfortunately felt his hamstring. I don't know the extent of the injury. It's a real shame for him, because I wanted to give him a start and I wanted him to show what he could do. So for him to come off after 25 minutes is disappointing for him, and hopefully it's not too bad.
And is Philip Jorgensen injured?
He's close. He's close to being fit, and hopefully it'll be either Arsenal or the game after.
Bizarre.
Hi Liam, sorry, it's a bit before the transfer deadline, but I've got to ask you about Mamadou Sarr, just because there's reports saying that you're personally driving him concerning. I know it's not happened yet, and it might not happen, but if he does return, what does it say about the relationship between Chelsea and Strasbourg and both benefit?
I don't speak about players who are at other clubs. It's something I've never done, and I won't start today.
Just behind us are.
Would making the final prove you definitely are up for the Chelsea? There's a big job.
Well, I'll be really honest. All this proof of me being right for the job or not, I don't really care. I'm here to do the job. I don't care about whether I want us. If we get to the final, it's great for Chelsea Football Club that we're in the final. It's not about me. I will prove in time whether I'm worthy, whether I'm not. But it's not at the forefront of my mind.
Okay, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Hi, Gary.
Any casualties we don't know about from the weekend?
No, I think you are aware of all of them.
With Bakaya, obviously a bit of a hip issue before kick-off?
Yeah, we have to wait. Today he was better, but we have to wait and see how he responds and then make the decision.
As far as you know, and I'm sure you've asked and you've seen, nothing too serious?
It doesn't look like something too serious. Whether he's going to be available for tomorrow or the weekend, we will see.
And obviously we've got further news now on Saka and Merino, who's going to be out. The club says until, well, hopefully we'll be training again before the end of the season. Can you be any more specific than that?
Well, we hope so. I don't know, obviously he needs to go through a procedure, which is never obviously positive. He's a big player for us, a player that has such a versatility and capacity to compete in various positions, and yeah, that's a big blow.
Is it a fracture?
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, the wording of the statement suggests that there might be a chance of him playing again before the end of the season, and obviously there's the World Cup coming up as well. So those are targets, I guess.
Let's see. It's a very rare injury, so we have to wait and see once we have the surgery how that reacts daily. Obviously, monitor it throughout the weeks post the surgery and see. I know Mikel is going to do absolutely everything that he possibly can to come back as quick as possible, but as well you have to respect the healing process and the fact that obviously it's an injury that is quite rare.
So that serious pain in the foot for that Mikel, is that a pain in the neck for this Mikel?
Yes, and for the team as well, obviously, because he's a big player for us, a very important player for us, and we're not going to have him until probably the end of the season.
Does it change your thinking today before 7 o'clock with the deadline?
Of course. I mean, when you lose a big player like this in the squad with 4 months to go and all the competitions to play for, you need to look, and we need to do everything that we possibly can to see if we have a player that is available, and if we don't, okay, we keep what we have.
But we know, particularly now, with his versatility and his abilities, his importance to the squad, not just any player's going to do. It's got to be someone really special, right, to come in.
Well, at this level, especially for 4 months, you have to bring a player that has the capacity to adapt immediately and impact the team, and that's not easy. But it would be easy, we wouldn't be here. So we need to find solutions and try.
I guess in previous years gone by, there would have been more of a panic, if that's the right word, than there is now, because of the depth of the squad that you've got now.
Yeah, but we have more depth now. But for 7 months we haven't had the depth because we have players out, like a lot of teams. So we know the demands, the standards that we need, and we need players because we play every 2-3 days.
How pivotal was the weekend? And I don't just mean going somewhere like these and winning so well, so convincingly, but also other teams chasing that title, losing points.
We can only control what we can control. Last weekend we lost. Now everything looks different. We are very happy in the manner that we competed and win our game, and that's the only thing that is in our hand. And by the way, big congratulations to our women's team for winning the trophy at the weekend as well, which was a really nice news.
Because Paul Merson said on Sky that it kind of felt to him, that game, that victory, the whole weekend, it was like the game where Arsenal won the title.
Yeah, we need another 13 or 14 of those, and that will make it happen. So we know how much is still to do. We are very conscious of that. I think every club is very conscious of that, and we just keep going.
So it's a Carabao Cup. As it's Carabao Cup, just a bit of a random question for you, I guess. You're the best team in Europe. You're the best team in the Premier League. You're a game away with the advantage of getting to a domestic cup final. There's no supercomputer, unfortunately, but the bookies have you at 9-1 to do the treble, those three, Champions League, Premier League, Carabao Cup. Is that a target? Is that something the players can believe in?
Honestly, we go day by day, competition by competition. Tomorrow we have a really tough game against a very good Chelsea side. Yeah, we have the home advantage. We have a good result, but we have still a lot to do tomorrow to earn the right to be in the final.
The thoughts of something like the treble, there's nothing wrong with the dressing room believing that that's possible, is there?
There's no point talking about it. What we can talk and control is what we do daily to sustain the level that we had or to improve it, ideally.
Ian Tosswell.
Hi Mikel, how are you?
Hi, Ian.
Can you talk us through what today is like for you? Because I think sometimes I think it's a bit like Championship manager, where you get up in the morning and you think, right, Mikel Merino's out for the rest of the season, I need a midfielder, and then you just go and search someone there, and it's not like that, is it?
No, it's not. Well, we had the news a few days ago, and obviously we are always active in every window that we have, just in case something happens. We have the departure of Ethan as well to Marseille for the right reasons, I believe, for the club, player and the team. And then the news of Mikel were very unexpected, obviously, especially for such a long time. So we are actively looking at options. We will continue to do that. So my day will be the same as usual. I'll be busier. And if we have find a solution, we'll try to do it. And if we don't, we will continue in the manner that we are now.
Because things are going so well on all fronts, is there the temptation not to replace Mikel? Because obviously you don't want to disrupt the harmony you have within your squad right now.
Well, we do something is just to improve what we have and to be better. Certainly not with that purpose. So we will have the consideration in relation to the opportunity that we have, whether we do it or not.
Liam Rossini's Chelsea, you're up against them again, second leg of the League Cup. They've conceded goals. He's won 6 or 7 games that he's had, but they have conceded quite a few goals along the way. Is that a weakness that you'll be targeting?
Well, I mean, every team has his own things. I think Liam is doing an incredible job so far in different competitions as well. And tomorrow, yeah, the tie has a context which is very specific when you talk about that tie. That's the fact that we play at home and we have the advantage, but that we need to now make it very concrete in the manner that we approach the game certainly tomorrow to win it.
Last one from me. In terms of not setting a ceiling for your team and going to try and win all 4 competitions, I understand obviously you want to do that, but this is the first one. This could be your first piece of silverware in 6 years since you won the FA Cup here. Is this, in a way, the most important of the lot? I mean, if you win all 4, will you look back and think that was actually the one, the League Cup?
Yes, I mean, the next one is always the most important one, and it is the closest, at least, to reach a final. And tomorrow, if I don't have people, we really need to create the atmosphere, the energy, the belief that we're going to do it, and all together, I'm sure we are very capable of doing that.
James Athletic.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
I just had a couple of questions about Eberechi Eze. You've spoken a lot this season about the need for magic moments, and he's someone who can provide them, and he has provided them against Spurs and City and other places. I just wondered, is that enough really for someone who wants to be a regular starter in your team? Is moments enough, or do they have to find a way to impact the game more often throughout the 90 minutes?
Yeah, you have to impact the game consistently throughout 96 minutes at this level, and any phase, any action is the most important action, and on top of that you have to be able to add other values. In his case, he's very, very, very good and unique at creating those magic moments, so that's the demands of each player.
And do you think in terms of his position in the team, when he arrived we saw a little bit more on the left hand side? It feels like recently he's been more in central areas. Is that because you feel that central position suits him better?
Well, for different reasons, to be fair, because we had certain injuries on the front line and we utilize him on the left, and we have injuries as well on the right. So he's been able to adapt to different positions. I think in the last few weeks he had more consistency in one position, and just trying to understand as well those relationships where he's more comfortable, where he can impact more the game in relation to the opponent, and that's where we are.
James, CBS.
Hi Mikel, I'd like to ask you about Victor Gyökeres. 4 goals in his last 6 games. Are you seeing signs of an improvement, and if so, where on the pitch?
Yes, but his all-around play and performances, I would say, he's been much more consistent in actions and consecutive actions, especially. His defending inputs, they've been terrific from the beginning, but attacking-wise, understanding his movements, the timings of his runs, the presence and movements at the box has been much better, and he's been more prolific, certainly, in front of goal to help us to win more games.
And he's starting to score those, maybe not the most aesthetically pleasing goals, but do you think that was something your team was maybe missing before Victor came on?
Yes, I mean, he has the ability to do that, and goals are goals. I know that we prefer the beautiful ones on YouTube, but they are all very important, and the ones that he scored recently are very much the same.
Mikel,
Hi.
you've obviously got quite a lot of options in defence and at fullback. With Mikel now facing a long spell out, is Miles someone you might now view sort of primarily more in midfield than at left back?
Yeah, Miles has the qualities to play in different positions. He's played as a fullback, as a 6, or as an attacking midfielder even. So yeah, that's an option that we have in the squad.
Since he came into the first team, pretty much all his minutes, I guess, have been at left back, but he came through the academy in midfield. Why, I guess, have you not used him more in midfield in the first team so far?
Well, because I believe that he had the best chance to break into the first team playing that position, because I think he has unique qualities that we didn't have in the squad to accommodate that and to give him the chance to play for us.
Hi Mikel, with Ethan going out on loan, he scored in his first game for Marseille, I'm sure you've seen it. How delighted were you to kind of see him hit the ground running in some ways, and then another in your mind going, that maybe could have been for us as well if he was still here?
Yes, but we made the decision now. What I would love to see from Ethan is they score that goals every 3 days, and he plays a lot of minutes. He gets the exposure that he needs. He continues to grow mentally, physically, in all the technical and tactical aspects that are necessary at this level. And that's the reason we've done it, because we believe that was the right context and the right coach for him to do that. And hopefully that's going to happen.
And the understanding was that there wasn't a break clause in that loan that you could say emergency bring him back within this window. Did you do that with the mindset of we're sending him out there and he's going to get important experience over the next 6 months?
Well, to be fair, that's more something that Andrea and Sam in this case are more in charge of deciding and negotiating, because it's not only what we want as well as what the other clubs expect from the player that is joining them and the way he commits to that club.
Okay, last couple now, James and Mikel.
When you have this situation where you're looking to react really late in the window, how does it work? Do you go to a list? Do you go to Andrea with a list of players? Does he come to you? What's the sort of process?
No, we start to look, but obviously Andrea is in full charge of that, and I fully obviously trust him with the experience that he has, with the relationship we built, and because we understand each other so well. But we believe that that can help us, the environment that he's going to find that player as well, the expectations, and obviously the financial options that we have to bring a player now.
You've only got 5 hours. Are you relaxed about the situation that if you don't get anyone in, you've got enough?
I wouldn't say relaxed. I think we are on it, and it's our responsibility, when we are playing for what we are playing, to give ourselves the best opportunity and chance to look at the market, every option, evaluate them, and then make a decision whether we do something, if it's possible.
Does last January come into your mind at all, where you thought about doing something late, obviously had that failed bid late on? Do you think we don't get to that situation again?
Yes, I think it's a very different one as well, and I know what happened very, very well. I know the details of that, so that was totally different to this one.
Tell us, come on.
Afternoon, Mikel. The conversation for a while is that it's your title to lose, but complacency is the enemy of greatness. Do you have anything particularly special to stop your players feeling that they owe the league, or that they're taking this opportunity for granted?
Yes, the reality that we face every single day. They are the ones that experience the difficulty and the challenge and the level of this league and what we want to accomplish. So it's obviously not even a thought that.
And in your last League Cup home game, the capacity was over 59,000, and in last week you addressed the loss against Manchester United, and you clapped your hands and said, "Vamos," the fans loved it. You clearly have a very special connection with the fans. Over your last 6 years working here, what special things do you think you've established as a manager to be so effectively connected with the fans?
Well, I don't know. I think it's something, trust, I think a relationship, a cohesion that you have to build every single day, the way you behave when you win, when you don't win, in the manner that you make decisions, in the manner that you are perceived inside the club. I don't know, I think it's a lot of factors. I'm very, very grateful for the way, obviously, I get treated, the way I get respected, for the response that all our supporters have with the team and with myself constantly. And tomorrow we have a beautiful night together again to make something special. And we all together, we're going to...
Mikel Arteta's work at Arsenal is being viewed in an even brighter light after the recent coaching shakeups elsewhere. With Chelsea parting ways with Enzo Maresca and Manchester United moving on from Ruben Amorim, the contrast is hard to miss. Arsenal has kept moving forward under Arteta, giving him time through difficult stretches, and now seeing the payoff as the club pushes again in the Premier League title race. It also raises a bigger question about strategy. While Chelsea and United are changing direction again, Arteta has been in place for more than 6 years, outlasting a long list of managers across those two clubs in that span. That stability has become part of the story, and it was a major talking point on the Seeing Red podcast with Tom Canton and John Cross. Beyond reacting to Amorim's dismissal and breaking down wins over Aston Villa and Bournemouth, plus Manchester City's loss to Chelsea, the conversation kept returning to one core idea: structure. Not just who is the coach, but how much power that coach has, and whether the club is built to support a long-term project. Cross pointed to Arsenal as a rare example of patience turning into real strength. He argued that Arsenal's willingness to back Arteta through the messy early phases helped create the stable position they're in now, and that this kind of time and support investment is what can turn a club into something truly solid. Canton's response was sharp and honest. Arteta's arc, he said, has almost become a problem for other clubs, because it tempts them to keep coaches they probably shouldn't. But at the same time, it's still the best example of what can happen when you hire the right person and actually give them time. And that time wasn't smooth. The discussion highlighted how Arsenal could easily have pulled the plug early. 2 8th-place finishes, then 5th, missing out on the Champions League, and a Europa League semi-final exit to Unai Emery's Villarreal. Any of those moments could have pushed a club into panic mode. Instead, the argument is that Arsenal recognized the bigger reality. Arteta didn't have the resources to compete at the required level right away. The squad needed a rebuild. The roster needed to be refreshed. That's where the comparison to Chelsea and United becomes even more pointed. The podcast suggested that recruitment and decision-making structure are often what determine whether a coach survives. If signings don't land, results suffer. And if a coach doesn't have enough influence, or the club isn't aligned behind a clear plan, it becomes much easier for things to collapse. In other words, giving time only works if the coach is empowered to shape the team in a way that matches the vision. Cross also emphasized that Arteta's situation stood out because he pushed to be a true manager, not just a head coach. The idea is simple. Top coaches want a real say in the build, and they want the club to match what they were promised when they took the job. The discussion even pointed to how Arteta survived a low moment, like the home loss to Burnley, because the club stayed behind him. And in that period, with fan pressure affected by the COVID-era environment, Arsenal were able to hold their nerve instead of reacting emotionally. Meanwhile, the big unknowns now shift back to Chelsea and Manchester United. Who replaces Amorim? And how will the next chapter look at Chelsea? The answers may come sooner than people expect. But for Arsenal, the reality stays the same. They're stable, they're moving forward, and they're still in the title chase, while others are starting over again. And that contrast can shape how people judge every manager in the league. Because when two massive clubs hit the reset button again, it forces the same question Cross raised on the show. Is the quick switch actually fixing the problem, or just delaying the real work? The bigger takeaway from the discussion is that time isn't a magic solution by itself. It only becomes valuable when the club's structure supports the plan, and when the coach has the influence to push the squad in the direction he believes it needs to go. That's why the distinction between head coach and manager kept coming up. The podcast point is that if a coach is expected to own the results, he usually wants a meaningful say in the decisions that shape those results. And if he doesn't get that, patience alone won't save him. That's also where Arteta's early struggles get reframed. Those finishes and setbacks could have become a reason to panic. Instead, they became evidence of why alignment matters, because Arsenal chose to treat them as part of a build, not a final verdict. And once the squad was reshaped the way the club believed it needed to be, the results started to reflect that long-term approach. So the repercussions aren't just about Arsenal looking stable, it's about how stability changes your margin for error. When you don't reset every year, you're not constantly starting from zero. You're building on decisions, learning from setbacks, and keeping a clearer identity. For Chelsea and Manchester United, the immediate consequence is obvious. They're changing direction again, which means the next appointment carries even more weight. Because every new coach isn't just judged on results. He's judged on whether the club is finally giving him the structure and authority that the role demands. That's why the question at the end matters so much. Who will replace Amorim, and how will Liam Rosenior do at Chelsea? Because those answers will test the exact theme the show kept returning to. Time, support, structure, and control. And for Arsenal, it's a different kind of pressure. Stability doesn't guarantee trophies, but it does keep you in the fight longer. And right now, while others restart, Arsenal get to stay focused on what they're already doing, chasing the Premier League title.